Welcome to Shaped by Faith with your host, Theresa Rowe. To find out more about Shaped by Faith and Theresa Rowe, please visit shapedbyfaith.com or visit the YouTube channel, Facebook, or Instagram. And now, here is Theresa Rowe.
Welcome to Shaped by Faith, where we shape our bodies and hearts for God's purposes. Today, I'm joined once again by Dr. Vaughn Lawrence. He is the founder of Spirit of Health KC, where people are taught how to restore health by aligning the body with God's original design. And Dr. Vaughn has been such a special voice on Shaped by Faith. He has encouraged people to steward their bodies in a way that they will be healthy, but also they will bring glory to God. So thank you, Dr. Vaughn, for what you bring.
Thank you so much, and happy to be here again. Love it.
Well, today we're going to talk about a lot of interesting topics. I mean, we're discussing infectious disease and parasites, and you're going to touch on parasites, Lyme disease, mold exposure. The list goes on and on and on.
It's a lot.
We've heard about chronic illness for a long time. When I was a little girl, I didn't hear about it. But it wasn't until I was probably early 30s where I really started hearing about, chronic fatigue or this or that or Epstein-Barr. And then you heard about mold and then parasites, and you're like, oh my goodness, what in the world is going on? So have these conditions always been here with us, or are they increasing for some reason?
And I would say they're absolutely increasing. I would say I personally believe it's an excuse by our modern medical system that, we're just better at diagnosing these things. Like they say that about autism. Okay, ask your parents or grandparents how many children, not a label, not an autistic label, had those types of behaviors or problems in their school. Right? It wasn't there in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and if there was a child that had a serious issue, it was the one in the whole school. Right. It wasn't this regular thing affecting tens of thousands of children these days. So something's changed, something's wrong. Even something like a heart attack, the first myocardial infarction, which is a heart attack, was not even written or described in medical literature till the early 1900s. So it was never normal for people to have heart attacks. It was never normal for children to have autism or ADHD or all of these things. So I think things have dramatically changed. Now, what is that? Can you pinpoint it on one thing? No, you can't really pinpoint it on one thing. But if I had to pick one thing, being a spiritual person, I would say it's the sin of man. It's just the pollution of not only our world, but the pollution of our food, right? Yeah. The creation of man-made synthetic chemicals and things that never existed before. It's the absolute disaster of farming and how we've switched to large scale corporate farming using tons of herbicides and pesticides and glyphosate. I mean, you can name so many things, but if I was to put a name on what I think is happening, again from a spiritual level, what makes logical sense to me is we have a battle of clean versus unclean. And so the Bible is very clear on like cleanliness, be holy because I am holy. He actually said that in the New Testament, not Old Testament. I think he said it in both. But there's this holiness, this cleanliness that God had with creation, and he had when he created mankind. But we have fallen so far from cleanliness, and we've fallen so far into pollution of our world, therefore pollution in our bodies. How else do we explain an epidemic rise in infectious disease? People are full of parasites. They have Lyme disease. They're full of mold. They're full of viral conditions like Epstein-Barr is rampant right now, and on and on and on. So I really believe it's the unclean, and I know that's very huge, broad, vague, but it's the uncleanliness of our world and the human bodies that I really think we're fighting against. And the only thing that we can pinpoint as the problem is man, the creation of these man-made things that have led to where we're at today.
I think that's so good. I think as a follower of Christ, we should get to the root cause in our own spiritual life with our own hearts and ask the Lord to create within us a clean heart and renew a right
Yeah,
spirit within us. I think that's so important. Just, Lord, if there's anything in this heart that doesn't belong in there, please show me. I think it's important to get to that root, whether it be unforgiveness. I mean, the list goes on and on and on because as we
right.
both know, it affects our physical body as well. So many women, and I'm saying women because I'm with women a lot. They experience like this brain fog, this fatigue, and they'll say, okay, it's because I'm perimenopause or I'm
Right.
menopausal or I'm right in the middle. I mean, what is that? I mean, I'm hearing about that more and more as well.
Yeah. And again, it's not necessarily just one thing, but if you want to look at what's going on in our world today, where do you start? I think you start with diet. I think we have to clean up our diets. There's just no getting around it anymore these days. Like we're not going to get away with like anything goes. Like when I grew up, like when I grew up, we didn't think about what we ate. We just ate. We had ice cream after every meal. It was just like it was the norm, right? And
Yes.
so now it's just we can't get away with that because our bodies are so compromised. Going back to the clean unclean thing. So I think if a woman's really struggling with menopausal type of symptoms, of course you can check hormones and you might be deficient in progesterone and there's clearly some hormonal shifts that are happening. But what I have found, because I've actually worked with a lot of women's hormonal issues, is one is I look at the liver because as the liver's clogged up, it's congested, it's not clearing estrogen properly. What happens is we have now a deficiency in progesterone because progesterone is progestation,
Mhm.
right? So postmenopausal, you don't need as much progesterone. It just drops dramatically. And then you have this excess estrogen in the body causing a lot of these symptoms. So I think that's liver primarily. It's not like what causes a hormonal problem. I think liver is a big issue there and gut health. So if a woman, since you see a lot of women, I see a lot of women, if a woman wants to improve in her hormonal symptoms, then work on your cleaning up your diet, work on cleaning out and cleaning up your liver
Hmm.
and maybe work on stress and make sure you got a good balance of like exercising, walking, and you're handling stress. I think if we worked on those things, I think either women wouldn't have the symptoms at all or they'd have very light symptoms going through menopause.
And I also think we live such busy lifestyles um, versus what our parents and grandparents lived, where
Sure.
I think sometimes we put stress upon ourselves for going to, I've got to take little Johnny to ball, then I've got to take Susie to dance class, and then I've got to go over here and do this. And so we're running, 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 running. And there's really not that, reset or just spending that quiet time. Not that we should sit around the house all day either, but I think we're so busy and our mind is always churning, like kind of like a computer, that we don't give it that rest that it needs at time.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I mean, yesterday was our Sabbath. We just listened to the Bible. We stayed at home. We swam in the pool. We were just together as a family. There's a board game called Everdell that we absolutely love, and it's a long game. Like it's 2 to 3 hour game. We played it twice. So we're trying to be better. I have a business with 20 employees, and I have a family, and you just got a million things going on, right? But I'm really trying to like have a day where you just hang out and just be a family and just spend time with the Lord and pray and worship and listen to the Bible and just be home. And so I think that's crucially important. And I would 100% agree with you that we need to change a lot of things. We need to change our diet. We need to cleanse, but we probably need to work on our work-life balance and our stress, so to speak, as well.
I love that you brought up the Sabbath because I think so many times we are continuing to run, 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 where we just need to be with the Lord and with our families and think about the goodness of God. I think that's what we're missing as a whole. Now, I know people do that, you do that, and I know we go to church and we rest but we really need to take the time out to rest the body and spend it with the Lord. I mean, that's the way He designed us. He told us to rest.
I agree.
Dr. Vaughn is an amazing person. You just are Dr. Vaughn. You have so much information. God has allowed you to have this platform to help so many people just to get healthy, but not only physically, but spiritually. So that's why I love having you on Shape by Faith. We've been talking about parasites. We've been hearing about parasites a lot. So, why don't you address that? I mean, I think we used to think when you travel, maybe you're going to pick up some parasites if you go to a different country, but I don't think that's the case so much anymore, is it?
Well, I mean, we're kind of at a place in our world where, I hate to say, oh my gosh, everybody has parasites. And not everybody probably has a parasite problem, as in it's causing symptoms, it's affecting their life, it's causing a sickness or a disease. But I would safely say that if you have a chronic illness, if you've been ill for 10, 15, 20 years, if you've ever been diagnosed with something really serious like MS, multiple sclerosis, cancer, I mean, we're talking something serious, then yeah, I'd say there's 100% chance you have parasites, and that's part of the problem. So it's a real problem. It goes back to what I said. I think there's a clean, unclean issue going on in our world. And we were talking about it briefly over the break that I think we just don't have strong immune systems anymore. We used to be outside in the sun, in the dirt, right? Growing our own
Yes.
fruits and vegetables, getting those good soil organisms and those bacteria that's in the dirt. Now we sterilize everything. We corporate farm everything. We're scared to go outside sometimes because of the sun or a tick bite or pesticides on our lawn or whatever, right? So it's like
Yeah.
we've just created this backwards world that's so far from the Garden of Eden. And so I think parasites are a real issue. I recommend people, you don't have to do a parasite cleanse if you're like super healthy and you eat well and you work out. Like, don't be like, oh, I got to do a parasite cleanse. But like, if you're struggling with I've had brain fog for 5 years. My memory's a little wonky. I've had these crazy digestive issues for actually quite a few years now. Haven't found a solution to it. I have to be careful the foods I eat. I mean, if there's anything symptomatic going on, like parasites is just kind of the first place to start. Now, of course, we do lab testing. I can check somebody to see if they really do have, parasites or a bacterial issue or a viral issue. Mold and fungus in the intestinal tract is very common these days. So there can be other things going on and we can test for it, but why not do a parasite cleanse? I mean, we have multiple parasite cleanses on our website. They're range in strength, they range in price, but why not just start there, try it? Because, like I said, if people have symptoms and they're struggling with anything, especially over a prolonged period of time, especially if it's chronic, then that's the more and more likely you do have a parasite issue, as if it's at least part of the problem, not saying it's the only problem.
How often does a person need to do a parasite cleanse? Let's just say I'm curious, I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm sure I have some parasites, but why not get healthier? How often do you recommend it?
Well, I would recommend doing what we used to do back in the good old days, right? Like if you talk to maybe not your grandparents, but maybe your grandparents' parents, great grandparents, go back a little ways. It was normal for people to parasite cleanse once or twice a year. With my
Mhm.
family, I always make sure with my kids, we're doing it at least twice a year. So you don't have to go crazy with it. You don't have to do it every month. Once, I'd say bare minimum. Twice, I say would make more sense, like spring and fall would be a good time to do a parasite cleanse. And it's easy. It's just taking some herbs, liquids, pills. It's not hard. But back in the day, it was normal. It's what everybody did. Why did they do it? One, they recognized that parasites were really a problem, even back in the 1700s, 1800s, early 1900s. Two, they were trying to prevent going to the doctor, because going to the doctor meant going to get the doctor and having him travel in horse and buggy 37 miles to get to your house, and it might take 3 days for the doctor to even get there. So you didn't want to have any problems. So they actually practiced prevention back in the day, and the way they practiced prevention was using herbs and doing things like parasite cleanses on the regular.
Can we do something else? I mean, doing a parasite cleanse, but does it help? Like we hear, wash your hands all the time, make sure your hands are clean. And I mean, does that have anything to do? Can you pick up parasites like on your hands and get them in your mouth?
You can, and I think that's biblical, right? The Bible says to wash our hands. I think that's smart. I don't know if you ever heard the story about women, having a lot of death during childbirth, and doctors weren't washing their hands, and women's were getting infections and dying during childbirth.
Mm.
And some genius figured out that, oh my gosh, like when we started washing our hands or started wearing gloves, women stopped dying in childbirth. So clearly there's a transmission, going on of infection, whether that was bacterial or parasite or whatever. So yeah, I think it's smart to wash your hands. I think it's smart to wash your fruits and vegetables. We use an ozonator. I sell an ozone machine on my website for $99. So it's not expensive. You can buy the fruit and veggie wash, although I think that's kind of a waste of money. You can use apple cider vinegar. You can use lemon juice. You can use hydrogen peroxide. There are all kinds of great things you can do. But we'll buy fruits and vegetables and put them in the sink, and we'll fill it with water, and I'll just stick the ozonator in it and let it run for 20 minutes. And it just
Oh, wow.
basically zaps everything with ozone. So I definitely think we can practice prevention. It's just, I don't know how else to say it. In our world, again, I feel like we're so far gone as far as
Mm.
the uncleanliness and the weakening of our immune system. And what's weakened our immune system? Sorry to say it, but it's the pharmaceutical industry. It's all the vaccines. It's all the drugs. It's the chemtrail weird stuff they're spraying in the sky. It's all the herbicides and pesticides. It's fluoride in the water, and it's on and on and on and on and on. But there's a reality that our immune system have been dramatically weakened in our country.
Absolutely. You know, I also think about the airways and all these frequencies that are going on now because I know when I was growing up, we didn't have cell phone towers, we
Nope.
didn't have all these towers,
None of that. Yep.
putting out all this frequency. And like you said, we didn't hear a lot about ADHD or autism or anything like that. Do you think that's kind of, and I don't want us to go down a rabbit hole, but do you think that also kind of, um, you know, brings on some of these things that we may be
Yeah.
carrying?
Yeah, it is, and without going down the rabbit hole and without going into conspiracy theories, et cetera. But I'm the firm believer that this is all by design,
Yeah.
right? There are people who, whatever you want, global elite, you can use whatever term you want to use, but there are people who say, hey, we want to poison the world. We want to poison people. Yeah, so that's why you can't pinpoint it on one thing.
Yeah.
Yes, it's the vaccines. Yes, it's the herbicides and pesticides. Yes, it's the EMFs. Yes, it's the chemtrails in the sky. Yes, it's all of it. Like it is a poisoning of humanity. How else do I say it? And spiritually speaking, it's pretty easy to see. We fight not against flesh and blood, but principalities and powers. This is good versus evil. This is God versus Satan. This is the demonic influence of evil infiltrating our word to do what? To destroy humanity, to destroy the human genome because the devil hates humans. I mean, that's, if you're Christian, you understand that that's a reality. And how does he want to hurt humans? By destroying our physical bodies, by having us be miserable, by having us be full of sickness and chronic disease. Anything you can do to destroy the beauty of God's creation. We're made in his image. So the last thing he wants is for us thriving. And so, unfortunately, evil partners with people to
Mm.
do bad things, to destroy and seek, what is it, steal, kill, and destroy,
Yeah.
right? That's the devil's purpose. And I think he does it through all of these systems, and we're subject to those things. But hey, let's be positive. Maybe at the end we can be positive. Like, what's the light? What are the good things? What can
Yeah.
we do? What is
Yeah.
God doing right now? Like, maybe we should finish with that.
That's right. God is on the throne room, and we always have blessings in our life. It's up to us to steward these bodies to keep them healthy and strong so that we can serve God in a way that's glorifying to Him. So that's why He's given us these bodies. We're to take care of them, not obsess about them. Now let's discuss Lyme disease, Dr. Vaughn, because you hear about that a lot. Oh my gosh, I've got Lyme disease. I can't do this and this and this, and I'm not going to go outside. So, what is it about Lyme disease? Like, what are the symptoms and what should we expect and what are we supposed to do?
it's a toughie. Lyme disease is real. It's a growing problem. And I've talked about this in a class before. You can look it up on my YouTube channel. I do believe it's a bioweapon. I do believe it was engineered by man and released to cause harm. And there's other books written about that, so you don't have to believe me on that topic. But it is a bacteria, and it is called a spirochete, and it does reproduce by the billions and spiral. Looks like a corkscrew, and it spirals into our tissues and organs and even brain. I mean, it's very, very, very serious. But I heard it said well once, and so I always repeat this: is that Lyme disease is not really an infectious disease problem; it's an immune system problem. So all of these things in our world, we're not going to live in a bubble and avoid them. We're not. As much as you wash your hands a million times or wear a mask or whatever, you will not avoid Lyme or parasites or Epstein-Barr virus or any of it. So your goal shouldn't be avoidance. Your goal should be strengthening your immune system. And I'm actually able to show this people in labs, and that's what's great, because we look at antibodies. And the reason we know people have these issues is when I run a lab on somebody, I could run a lab on you, Theresa, I could run a lab on myself. We will have antibodies to all of these Lyme disease organisms. What that means is they're there. Because if there weren't any antibodies to it, it would say 0. And antibodies tests never come up 0, which means we are all encountering these things. It comes down to, is your immune system strong enough to handle it or not? Who's in charge? Is the disease in charge, or is your immune system in charge? So that's what I try to promote when I'm working with somebody with Lyme disease or any serious issue is, we're going to take things that kill, quote unquote, kill and remove the infection from your body. You can kill parasites, you can kill mold, you can kill Lyme. But what's more important is, are we boosting and strengthening your immune system? So herein lies, one of the failures of the medical system is it's all killing treatments. It's all antibiotics. It's all chemotherapy. It's all radiation. We're going to kill, 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 kill. Not only do those things do nothing to strengthen and enhance your own immune system, they actually weaken it and deplete it. And they set us up for more problems in the future. So the way I look at it is, Lyme is a real issue. It's growing and you can treat it, but antibiotics, IV antibiotics are not the answer. They're not the way to do it. You have to build and strengthen your immune system. You have to get the person stronger, and you have to get their immune system stronger. And then when you do that, you can actually go in, kill and flush the Lyme bacteria and get your immune system back in charge. And that's with any infectious disease. Again, the problem isn't that we encountered some organism. The problem is that our immune system's not handling it. So it's always a quote unquote immune problem. And that should give people hope and encourage people that, hey, there is something you can do. Wow, I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. I'm designed in the image of God. I have an immune system that's like this entire army trying to fight for me. It's just that, how do we help that? How do we help a body that's struggling? And that's where I try to come in and help guide people through diet, lifestyle, cleanses, herbal protocols, things that are going to get them to that place, not where they fully kill all Lyme, but where their immune system's in charge and they never have symptoms of Lyme again.
Are there certain foods that boost the immune system that can help boost the immune system?
100%. Yeah, I'm a big believer in high protein diets, vegetables, maybe some healthy fats, although I think we can excessively do the fats. Sadly, when it comes to infectious disease, sugar's the worst, and any processed carbohydrates. And so it's hard, but I do have people get off even things like bread and, things like that people love. And we're like, oh, well, we ate bread in the Bible. How can we not eat bread? It's not about that. And that would go down. That's probably a whole nother episode. But the reality is when you're systemically struggling with infectious disease, they feed off of sugar, starches, and carbohydrates. And so if you can do high protein, lots of vegetables, you will boost and strengthen your immune system. We need the vitamin D, we need the zinc, we need the copper. There's a whole lot of minerals we're deficient in. I test for all those. And if we're deficient in those things, we ramp those things up. Again, this is part of how do you get the immune system up. It's proper diet. It's not feeding the infection with sugar and the wrong foods. It's getting tons of sunshine. It's exercising. It's getting our minerals up. Those are crucial. All those electrolyte minerals, zinc and copper, are crucial for immune function. And people just don't know these things because they're not being taught these things and their doctors aren't telling them these things.
No, that's so true. And I'm not a physician, but does the body reset itself like every 7 years or something, and cells overturn every certain amount of days? I mean, I think I've heard that before.
Yeah, it's totally true. The body's always renewing itself, so cells are always dying and new cells are always being produced. So again, that's the good news. Old, dead, sick, diseased cells can and will die. It will be replaced with new cells. What's the key? What building materials are available for those new cells?
That's
Do
good.
they have the minerals? Do they have the amino acids and the protein? Do they have the oxygen? Do they have the light from the sun? Do they have CoQ10 and glutathione? Do they have the right nutrients they need to build healthy, strong new cells? And that's what we have to work on.
Dr. Vaughn, you're always a wealth of information. We love having you on. We didn't even get through half these questions, but that's okay. That's okay. Thank you so much for taking the time with us today.
Thanks again.
And thank you for watching and listening. I'm Theresa Rowe. Everyone have a blessed day. Bye.
Thank you for listening to Shaped by Faith with Theresa Rowe. Remember to visit shapebyfaith.com to find out more about workouts, the TV show, podcasts, blogs, Shaped by Faith products, and much more.